Warning, the following program contains extreme coarse language and mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is extremely advised. Good evening. It is Talking Truth. I'm ADC. Thanks for joining me on this Talking Truth Thursday takeover edition for AB Accountability. That's the Alberta Accountability Alliance. And what is the Alberta Accountability Alliance? Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot of things, including what's going on in Alberta. If you've been living under a rock or hiding under a rock, the fact is that you have a Take Back Alberta, took Alberta back from Albertans. And the UCP gained the, according to the numbers, so-called majority government. Scary as hell. A lot of people looking at how the hell they get out of Alberta, which we don't blame them. What the process is, or what's next. And a lot of people are reeling here, and say we're reeling as well. We had the pleasure to jump on the breakdown last night, and want to share that with you, as well as talking more about the Alberta Accountability Alliance. So let me just see if we can share the screen. Hold on, let me see if we can share video. Yes, understand that. What's going to be easier here? Technology is fantastic. And yeah, that's something here is and there we go. Sorry, a little bit of delay there. And we had the pleasure of jumping on for a call.
ADC, I'm curious. I want to start with, like, what does that even stand for?
Angry Dad Canada.
Okay, there we go.
It was the nickname I was given when I was in commercial radio. They had my kid up there, and the coworkers were like, "Yeah, man, you're just Angry Dad. You're Angry Dad Canada." Okay, cool.
Well, what's going on, Angry Dad?
Well, hey, man, I'm one of those guys in rural. I'm in Lacombe. So I sat and had to explain to my daughter how that person on the blue sign was an awful human being, and the fact that our youngest, who's here right now, and her older sibling are both in the 2S community, and try to explain to her that anything that person has said is not true. And thankfully, our youngest is 11 and understands that, but it still pains me to do that.
I can't imagine.
The point that they got, though, is, number one, you are correct. I actually took a shot at you on YouTube, and I apologize. But
I missed
I
it. I've been a
think
little
we
busy.
have to stop the infighting. I went after Kenny from 2019. I actually went after him so hard that I got targeted by Elections Alberta and was under investigation and the whole Houghton match. So I actually registered as a political third party advertiser, but I wasn't an electoral third party advertiser. So anytime that we would get any momentum on our message, I'd get a letter from Elections Alberta saying, "You're not qualified to do this. So you have to stop." So I was basically blacked out during the by-election for Brian Jean, and then during the leadership debate, or the leadership, the UCP leadership. And then I was given a letter after we started to gain some ground, after Smith was named leader, that as of December 31st, I would need to have electoral third party advertiser status to continue to do what I do. I said, okay, great, I'll do that. Never got back to me. Now the election's over. I've now applied for the electoral third party status, and I got the call from them saying, "Oh yeah, well we can do that, and we can revise what it was before." So what it was before was under Anger Dead Canada. What it's going to be is going to be the Alberta Accountability Alliance, and what my goal is to bring everyone that's progressive and on the left as that voice, and utilize the game that the UCP play, because all the game is, oh, they've got corporate dollars, they can shut you down. They've got this. Once we're registered and following the guidelines, we can run fundraisers, we can run golf tournaments, all these things, and raise money for the Alliance, which will be a group to keep the government accountable. And the goal is to have it be a non-ableist, inclusive group. So anyone who feels that because I'm on AISH or because I'm disabled and I can't do anything, no, you're welcome. You're more than welcome. We want everyone involved. Maybe we want you involved. We want, like you said, this is about getting people together. And if you're great at writing letters to your MLA, I think they're useless in my opinion. But if someone's great on doing that, perfect. You'll be the captain on that. If you want to do the in-person protests, fantastic. I know that with Bill 1, we can't protest without having some sort of regulation. And with the upcoming Gestapo that's going to be put into place, in-person protest is going to be very difficult. So it's about mobilizing people. So that's the goal from my side, is to utilize this. And yes, I'm the one starting this. Yes, I'm the one that's going to be the first whatever, but I don't want to be it. I want it to have a entire input of people, and there's a plan in place to be able to do mutual aid in every one of the electoral ridings. So having captains and co-captains providing mutual aid in those communities that are going to just be decimated from the UCP non-help, the Take Back Alberta people, and then have them get that exposure and be able to build those communities back from the ground, and still be able to have a voice back against the government. And with all that being regulated by Elections Alberta, which is basically using their own tools against them. So that's my goal. That's why I called tonight. I want people to understand that. They can follow me on the ADC thing, or we have the at AB_Polly on Twitter, and you can see the stuff that's being changed to the Alberta Accountability Alliance.
There we go. So you're like trying to be like the anti Take Back Alberta.
Yes. So when people are saying we need to come together, no, we've got something. It's all there. Just join. That's all we're not doing. We know there's certain people that charge memberships and all the other stuff. No, it's 100% transparent. And once we've got the approval from Elections Alberta, I will have their guidelines inside the document of the mutual aid manifesto for Alberta that I've already got as a Google Doc, and then people can see what the plan is and where we can go from there and who wants to join. It's a way to fight back, and you don't have to be in the province to do it either. So if things are too tough for people and they have to leave, I totally understand. In our circumstance and situation, we are not able to do that. So while I'm here, we're going to fight hard, and we're going to come about as an alliance for accountability.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I don't know what you said on YouTube, but no worries.
it was the thing about the frustration piece. There is everyone saying that we've only got the two choices: the NDP and the UCP, because it's a duopoly, it's a two-party system, and then the Greens can't get seats because of that. And I think you were just the straw there that broke the camel's back for me. The fact that I'm seeing all the independent media saying, "Oh, the Greens can't do this or whatever because they don't have." But if we keep saying that, it's never going to happen.
Well, I
So
think
there's got to be
clear. Like, let me clarify that. I think that there's definitely room for the Greens to pick up some seats.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anybody who's been paying attention to Alberta politics for the last 8 years, if there's any lesson, it's like the most surprising things are not only possible, they're becoming more and more likely. So it's my crack at the Greens was not meant to be disrespectful or derisive. I had Jordan on the show, and I would love to see in my perfect world. We would have multiple parties represented in the legislature. I think that would be the best thing for the conversation. But if wishes were horses and all that.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Okay. Well, as long as you weren't making fun of my hat or my shirt, then I'm cool.
Not at all.
Cool. All right. Anything else you wanted to throw in there, man?
No, let's let other people talk.
Okay.
Thanks for the platform, Nate. We'll keep in touch.
Hey, can I just throw one other thing in before you go?
Absolutely.
I don't know if it's worth anything, but there's a lot of people who know that what Ms. Johnson said is absolute garbage. And I hope that your kids know that there are a lot of people in this province who are incensed that sort of rhetoric is being talked and thrown about in any way. So I just wanted to say that.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, 100%. And their dad is the angry dad, and he's the dragon dad, and he will speak out. And most people won't. I don't have the tattoos like you, but most people see me as a 6-foot something angry guy who they don't want to mess with. So pretty much when I start to speak up, people will either back down or not listen anymore.
There you go. All right, man. Well, you take care. Have a good night, and you take care of those kids.
You too. Bye-bye.
Right.
Again, thanks very much to Nate and the breakdown for allowing us a platform to talk about the Alberta Accountability Alliance and the Mutual Aid Manifesto for Alberta is now live, up and running. And you can find that all. We just launched our co.fi page. We'll pop it into the chat, as well as we'll show you. We're actually going to share our screen here. I'll let you take a look at it, because one of the other things that was an update that we were going to promise was the fact that we did a poll in regards to the some designs we were working on. But first of all, we will share that. We'll show it on the screen. It is there, and you see it is the Alberta Accountability Alliance. Got a little bit of a rundown there. So right there in the video of our talk with the breakdown last night is there, as well as the Mutual Aid Manifesto for Alberta. It's a live document, so you take a look at it. If that is of interest to you, feel free to reach out to the the group, reach out to me. We'll forward on to the group. We are, as ADC, I'm a co-founder of that, the Alberta Accountability Alliance, and the AB Poli group. Yeah, we're going to go wild with this. And speaking of going wild, winner of the poll was Council of the Defeated. So take a look at that mug. We're going with glass. It's summertime. If there is a request for coffee mugs, we can do those, or t-shirts down the line. But right now we started with the Council of the Defeated. Celebrate. Well, who needs to be elected when you can be a Council of the Defeated? Paid shills for the UCP is TBA. And we have Old Pennywise Smith on there. Nice dual side design, frosted mug. You can fit a full can of beverage in there, as well as some ice, or you can do a 16-ounce beverage without ice. And $19.97 plus shipping and taxes, and all net proceeds go to the Alliance. And the other one, as we just wanted to show our support, as we said, we're dragons and all that sort of thing. We got the Sending Rainbows and Unicorns to all the homophobes and bigots during your uncomfortable time of the month. Hashtag 2S LGBTQIA plus. 1997 dual-sided frosted mug, 100% net profits going to the Alberta Accountability Alliance. And you can also visit the Talking Truth page for some of the other stuff. It is Pride Month, so that beautiful Sending Rainbows and Unicorns to the homophobes and bigots to make them uncomfortable. It's there just in time for Pride Month. And again, it is raising funds for the Alberta Accountability Alliance, which we want to utilize to help provide mutual aid in communities across the province that are going to be decimated by the UCP, even more so than they already are. So we had a post come across our page. We've reached out to them. Unfortunately, tonight was not a night that they could join us, but we wanted to show La Croissant qui rit at Sophie Fair on Twitter. And this one is really important, as the thread is: fascism is coming. It is too late to stop it. So make peace with the fact you'll have to break laws, that you may be arrested, beaten, that you need to learn to live outside the system. Learn to grow and forage food, stockpile meds and assistive devices if you can. Keep water on hand. Learn to waste nothing, especially food. Learn how to build fires. If you have assets in the U.S., liquefy them and move them out now. The U.S. is already in the early stages of civil war. Decolonize your mind. Truly root out any defense you have for politicians and for ACAB. Learn about how marginalized communities have been resisting and surviving all this time before the fascism affected you personally. They know things you will need. Get to know your neighbors. Learn to love them, even if you don't like them. Community is the only safety under fascism. Learn to preserve water, bath, canning, pressure canning, curing, fermentation. Learn to eat in season. Cut back on meat as much as you are able. Learn to protect yourself, your loved ones, and your community. The biggest threat to you will not come directly from the government, but from those who support it. Please think deeply about your feelings around firearms. It's reflective here for those in the center and those who identify as progressives to hate and oppose guns. You may never feel comfortable owning or firing one, but you need to think about it hard. Your world is going to get smaller and harder. Decide what really matters to you and then fight like hell for it. Oh, and if you're able, buy books. Reference and how to do books. You will not be able to rely on the internet and ebooks. Learn as much first aid and emergency response as you can. Learn to suture. Have medical supplies stored and easily accessible. learn to make soap and alcohol you're going to want to drink. And you also need to disinfect. Infection kills. If you eat meat, learn some basic butchery, learn to eat the offcuts, use the whole animal, learn to make and preserve stock, invest in the best knives you can afford, and learn how to keep them sharp. Question was, should I be paying off debt or hoarding cash? I'd pay off debt, but that's a hugely personal decision. Long term, that having skills to produce what you need outside the system is going to be more valuable than cash. Just don't become a gold bug. And people were joking about this, going, I've always been prepared and that sort of thing. Then there's some disgusting comments there. And yes, the final one, you're not wrong. This is Germany 1929, but globally. I wanted to share that one. We are going to have our comrade Le Cuisson on one of the upcoming episodes of Talking Truth. And we look forward to further discussion on that and further discussion on fascism and what that's going to entail. We've been warning, not saying that we're not going to, we're looking at it now where we were originally getting mad because people weren't listening. And we were getting very upset that we weren't being heard. And then that just became more negative and just bringing more negativity. And like Nate said last night on the breakdown, that infighting. And that's what basically keeps the right in power. Well, the left struggle. Left struggles the most because of the infighting. Left struggles because of ego. Left struggles because of infiltration. And people being propped up that aren't necessarily the most progressive, or they are progressive and they're more centrist. And if we're really going to fight fascism, we got to fight it from far left, not the center. Because there was a video. I'm going to see if I can actually find that, because I was really interested in their description of why we're in the state we're in. And what can we do about it? And it's this... and I'm looking and I can't seem to find it. I'm hoping it didn't get... it was on TikTok. We did share it on TikTok. We shared the link on Twitter as well. And let's see if we can find that quickly. If not, we will share it down the line. It was a very good point in regards to the why we're in the mess that we're in, because the center isn't the center anymore, and what the center isn't what it used to be, and that sort of thing. There we go. So let's see if it was Deedle D on TikTok, and I want to see, and no, it's gone. So TikTok has done their due diligence of basically censoring it, but it was an Overton window, and that was the explanation. And I wish I would have saved that freaking video. I'm going to hunt it down. We got to find it. We'll see if we can actually get a hold of Deedle D and have them on to talk about the Overton window. But the brief synopsis of it was the fact that when you're looking at the center, the Overton window will move that center right. So when we're looking at our Alberta politics, we had the progressive conservatives under the when I first came back to Alberta, it was under Jim Prentice. Well, it was actually Redford and then the whole whatever. But anyway, so Prentice was actually one of the last PCs. Would have been Ralph Klein in his final days, sort of thing. But So your progressive conservatives, and then you had further right, the Wild Rose Party. Well, what happened between the Wild Rose and the conservatives is they united. They united under the banner of the UCP. So the United Conservative Party is the Wild Rose and the Progressive Conservatives. Now, what happened when Jason Kenney took over the leadership of the UCP was the fact that it brought in more, because his kamikaze campaign, which is still under investigation by the RCMP, we're still waiting for some sort of response. They'll be very busy because they'll probably be investigating current Premier Daniel Smith and some of the shenanigans that were pulled during this election, like everyone loves ice cream. Anyway, sorry, was rambling on there. I apologize. Back to the Overton window. So with the UCP and a stronger connection to that Wild Rose, which pulled it right, your center is now over here. So your center is actually center right, and your right is now far right. And so when we're looking at the Overton window, the UCP were right of center. Now they're far right of center. And the NDP were left at one point of center. Now, when it was the UCP first starting, they became center. They were right on the cusp of that center thing. Kenney went through all the crap. They went through all these things. There's an infiltration by Take Back Alberta. Daniel Smith is implanted as the leader with the deep connections to the right-wing radicals. So now the UCP goes from being far right to GOP right, to January 6th right. So when you're taking that window far over that much, then the NDP, who were supposed to be the Progressive Party, they were supposed to be the actual Socialist Party. Well, we won't go there. Let's just say that the NDP haven't been socialist for many, many years. We get over from being dragged over the Overton window, being moved further right, thanks to Take Back Alberta. Now the NDP are center right. Center left is the Green Party and the Alberta Liberals. Green Party became the third party in with votes, third most votes in the province, which is a win for the Green Party. But that's not enough to tip the scales. And the NDP, instead of trying to drag the Overton window over to try and bring them more left, they went to go after the Conservative voters that were scared of the UCP, and they left their base over here. So if there's any of the base that were NDP supporters, which I'll truthfully tell you, when I was in British Columbia and I was in Saskatchewan, I was an NDP supporter and voter. The more the shift goes from left to center to right means I can't in good conscience vote for that party because it's just slightly better than what the other option is. Very similar things happening in the United States with the Democrats and Republicans. Republicans have dragged everything all over to the right, and the Democrats, to try and get voters, they go over there too. So the whole concept comes down to capitalism. So with your duopoly system, which here in Alberta, it's the NDP and the UCP, it is a duopoly. It's a two-party system. It doesn't work because one party needs to get the majority, and then no other parties can be represented. If they are represented, then there's a lot of vote splitting and a lot of excuses given of why the UCP wins the election and the NDP didn't win as many seats as they had to stop the UCP from winning. Now, I said it before, I'll say it again. Right now, the Green Party or the Alberta Party or the Alberta Liberal Party or any of the parties that actually are from the social side, I don't care about the ones that are either further right than Take Back Alberta. I don't want to even discuss them unless they can split the vote over there, but they won't. Because the right is very, very good at organizing. Why did Donald Trump get elected? Because the right organized. And he said the right things, and he's saying the right things again now. So if it comes to 2024 and Trump's the candidate against the old man, the current president who fell on his face again, who's basically, it's elder abuse as they keep propping him up as the acting president of the United States. If they throw him up against Trump, the Democrats are going to get destroyed. And that's the plan. But there's another plan in place. As bad as Trump is, there's a person that's even worse, and that's Ron DeSantis. And you know who Ron DeSantis is connected to? Premier Danielle Smith. Danielle Smith has openly celebrated the wins of Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott of Texas. Danielle Smith wants to make Alberta, Florida, and Texas. Wants to basically become another state and separate from Canada. But before she can do that, she has to make sure chaos continues. And that's where you come in with the Keenan Bexties and the Western Standards and all those right-wing, freedom-fighting fuck waffles with a platform. Like they admitted it right there. The leader of Take Back Alberta's wife used their publication to continue to prop up Take Back Alberta. Take Back Alberta has infiltrated the UCP. Take Back UCP is TBA. That's why the hashtag is so strong on Twitter right now, because it's true. We're talking truth. That is absolutely true. Like I said, talking with Nate last night, I am in Central Alberta. I am in Lacombe. Miss Shit Cookie herself is our MLA. Currently, supposedly an independent, but there was sure as shit a lot of blue UCP signs with her name on them and her branded as UCP. Regardless of what Danielle Smith has to say, subconsciously, Jennifer Johnson was branded UCP. So wouldn't it just be easier to just help people forget or let a little time go by, and then we'll make Jennifer Johnson part of cabinet? And why would they make Jennifer Johnson part of cabinet? Because Jennifer Johnson is deeply connected to the TBA. And the TBA, now that they've got the provincial election wrapped up, next step is municipalities. And they're coming for the school boards. And they're coming for the councillors. Because the best way to get things done is to hold all the cards. I'll say it right now, here in Lacombe, might not be the TBA, but it's white Christianity that runs the show. And it's conservative that runs the show. So anything that Danielle Smith puts out will be 100% supported by our local governments, our local school boards. Because even if they didn't agree, none of them have the testicular fortitude to challenge Premier Danielle Smith and Take Back Alberta. But by not challenging Danielle Smith or Take Back Alberta, you leave your community, you leave your schools, you leave your citizens vulnerable. And the most vulnerable citizens are the ones that have been targeted from the get-go. Be it Ron DeSantis banning trans, banning the 2S community in Florida, be it the treatment of Blacks and Indigenous and people of the global majority in Canada, in the United States, in Western nations. Fascism isn't coming, it's here. So the only way we can stop it from killing us, because it's not about stopping it from coming or stopping it from taking power, it's got both of those now. We need to stop it from killing us. Be it killing us because of our sexual orientation, killing us based on our ethnicity, killing us based on our hair color, killing us based on our disability status. When they said that it's 1929 Germany, 100%. I've been calling this since 2019. I saw the danger of Jason Kenney. Jason Kenney was the piece of shit who stopped families from getting together in San Francisco while AIDS patients died without their families. Because he's a piece of fucking garbage. Danielle Smith's a bigger piece of fucking garbage. Take Back Alberta's worse than Danielle Smith. So do you see how far the Overton window has gotten? When Jason Smith looks like Jason Smith, but I'd rather have Jason Smith. At least you know how to play defense. Jason Kenney is a better option as leader of the province than Danielle Smith or whoever the fuck Take Back Alberta wants to put into play. So, as we said on the breakdown last night with Nate, that's the behind the Alberta Accountability Alliance. Number one, we need to keep those motherfucking corrupt government officials accountable. Because how much money was stolen from public coffers and continues to be stolen under the guise of safety, under the guise of majority governments. Again, I urge you all to listen to the full episode of the breakdown last night. There was a discussion on the Calgary Arena deal, and it got deep. Councillor Jeremy, former councillor and mayoral candidate Jeremy Farkas, actually called in and discussed. And he will be joining Nate for a episode in the near future. And whatever you said about Jeremy Farkas, whatever I said about Jeremy Farkas in the past, I can clearly say that Jeremy Farkas is not a trash human being. And regardless of the political stripes that he carries, he understands people and he understands the dangers of Take Back Alberta. He tried to warn people. Progressive conservatives tried to warn people. I tried to warn people. Nate tried to warn people. Kim Seifer tried to warn people. Jeremy Appel tried to warn people. Charles Adler tried to warn people. When we're looking at Charles Adler, who is a fucking 100% centrist conservative and has been more leaning towards the right in his career, and he sees the dangers of Danielle Smith and Take Back Alberta, then it's fucking dangerous. But the danger has infiltrated the system. It was like a Trojan horse. It's like a virus. We've been infected. So how do we stop the infection? Or like a snake bite, I guess, is a better example. That you've been bit by a snake, a poisonous snake. The venom is in your bloodstream. How do you get it out? You have to fight like hell to not let it kill you. And that's what us as Albertans have to do. Love me or hate me, we need to come together. This isn't about ego. This isn't about leadership. This isn't about any of that. This is about protecting everyone who isn't a fascist. And if you are sitting there going, oh, well, they're not that bad, or it could be worse, or whatever, you're part of the problem. And if those are the people that's voices are heard stronger than voices like mine or Nate's or any of the others that have been trying to warn, you need to mute those people. If they say, oh, I'm on your side, but they're really fucking not, and they're just there for capitalism, you need to stop listening to them. If their vision and their why behind what they're doing is based on capitalist consumption, or what do they get out of it, they are not the answer, and they need to not be amplified. Like and subscribe across the board. Hopefully we'll have one of our guests that'll be able to join us on an upcoming episode live. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, reach out to us via DM on Twitter, email us through here. Yeah. Just we'll have you on. If you're not comfortable on camera, we can always just use audio and do it as a video podcast, but just using voice. And we can host up to 10 people. So if there's a group of you that want to come on, I welcome you. People want to come on and talk more about the Accountability Alliance. We welcome that. Welcome discussion. If you have questions, concerns, any of those sorts of things, please reach out. We want to connect with you. We want to connect with our Albertans, our fellow Albertans, our fellow comrades that are ready to fight. And like Cuisson had to say, that be ready to do things that you've never done before. Be ready to do things that you wouldn't believe was possible, and be ready to do things that are good trouble. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you all next week.